Say, what is it?
Well,
Not too much,
that's something though, that's a question we do ask in the studio though. I got into not trouble, but not trouble, but my principal questioned that the other day. In fact, we were doing a drawing lesson with these second graders. They're second grade, but they're new. It's just almost like first grade. It's the beginning of second grade. And we were drawing from observation. I got these little pumpkin-like gourds, these little pumpkins, and I said, okay, what is this? I said, what is it? What's in my hand? And that's how we were going to start the questioning. What is this? It's a pumpkin. And later, talking to the principal about that, she said, well, I don't know if that's really an appropriate question to be asking second graders, because of course they know what it is. Okay. That's not what it's about. It's all it's about is about questioning what is something.
Sure.
And where do we start? We question, well, what is it? Well, what else is it? Now what is it?
Right. Well, no, that's great, because what I was meaning, and didn't express it well, and I was so glad that it prompted you into that great response, was that there isn't, they didn't have a need to define what they were seeing as one thing, I guess. I mean,
Right.
in that way, they seem very comfortable.
Well, it takes a while, and I know some of it is just developmental, how we grow. And I mean, I see the struggle with becoming self-conscious. So those kids in kindergarten, first and second grade, for the most part, they don't care what they do on the paper and what you think about it, and it's just all very present, very immediate. And then in third grade, by the end of third grade, things start to creep in. What should I do? Should I do that? By fourth grade, there's all the social stuff going on, and then you start to become much more self-conscious. And then it's kind of the struggle as a teacher, to our teacher, to say, well, we don't have to do that on the page. We have to do that out here, but maybe not on the paper. You know, there's a self-conscious there. We can be critical and look at it and try to figure out what it is and how does it relate to me, but maybe not be self-conscious or feel wrong with it.
Have you always worked with that age group? Have you ever worked with older?
No, when I was at Purchase, I started teaching college classes there. And then for a year afterwards, I was driving up every day and teaching adults and some, non-major painting and drawing classes up there. And then during that time and afterwards for probably 5 summers, I worked with high school students, also at Purchase in an intensive high school program. That was really great. It was every day, all day long. These art students really wanted to be there and do art, and that was really great. But then when I really felt like I wasn't making any money, it seemed like I found this opportunity to follow. I didn't know where it was going to lead me, and it led me to getting certified in teaching in elementary school. Because I was placed there at school. I'm still there.
How many years?
This is in my 9th year in school.
Do you have anything that comes immediately to mind when I say how would you describe the differences between teaching high school or adults versus the elementary school kids?
Well, it's all different, and when I don't have experience in middle school, teaching middle school, so there's a little bit of gap, and I understand that, but again, the kids come in, I tell, my friends this, there's nothing like meeting those kids at the door and you see all these like 28 sets of pairs of eyes are like doing this, like they're literally jumping up and down, and I want to get in, let's get started. That's a little different.
Yeah.
The energy's different. The high school program I haven't taught in the public schools, I taught kids that really were interested in art and really wanted to be there. I mean, some more than others, but that was really great because that was different. Those are really smart people and people who are interested in ideas and can really talk about ideas, and that's something that was fun for us to do. I taught sculpture for a few years there, where it was really about like contemporary things, like what is sculpture today? What do people do that's not on anything that's not on a canvas? We were sort of talking about what is sculpture, and sculpture is action and movement and multiples and bringing things together and interventions and all this stuff, and that was really great. And then college is good. I mean, my experience was with adults that had gone back to school
Mhm.
and thinking they want to pursue it. Some students that were deciding, well, I think maybe I'm interested in art, so I'm going to take this class. And then some students were just taking it as a requirement. And so I had a range of interests in art. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't think I was a very good teacher then.
Mhm.
So I think I learned a lot about teaching, which mostly is kind of get to understand your students.
Right.
So I think if I did that again, I'd have a much
Wow.
better experience myself. But I like teaching adults. Talking about painting, talking about art and painting, as you can see, forever.
Well, that's fabulous, thank you, I love it, because I only ever have to ask 2 questions, and then it just, all the other questions I had are answered, or at least are not answered, but at least are opened up. So I want to kind of throw it out to any of you, if you have any questions you want to ask Craig, or any comments about specific pieces or anything? Patsy, is there anything you've always been wanting to
I've
ask?
had a lot of people ask me about the images that are in the ball. They want to know how you got that. What do you use?
For
And I
which
have
one?
no idea.
That one or
Well,
this
any
one?
of them.
They're all
Any of them.
A
different.
lot of the
Well,
balls.
that's a dollar bill.
Yeah, but how did
She
you?
wants to know how to get it in the glove.
Oh, how did I make the actual
Process,
thing?
Yeah.
I eventually, trial and error. I started by trying to make it on the outside of something round. I bought
Okay.
a plastic baseball,
Right.
and I had trouble because it kept slipping off.
Uh-huh.
And then as I got bigger and bigger, I decided, anyway, how am I going to get the thing out?
Yeah.
And I made, first I thought, well, I'll make 2 halves, but then they didn't fit together right. And then I cut the baseball in half and tried to work on the inside, but it wasn't really. When I cut it in half, it started to do this. It's not quite round. And then, I don't know if I got the idea, Holly suggested maybe. Somebody suggested try like a cake mold. And I went to this baking supply in the city and got these. They have these perfect aluminum, they're half sphere cake molds.
Yeah.
And I got those and I worked inside the mold. So I dropped a piece in, I dropped a piece next to it, and used my either just the super glue and the spray to
Yeah.
dries it, instantly, or the accelerator, or I make a little like that. I made out of dollar bill tiny little. You can see inside these little rectangles that kind of, I glued it together that way. These little patched it together on the inside.
No, I still don't get it. I mean, how did you get rid of the?
Well, I worked on
cake mold?
the inside, so it's a concave surface. Instead of, like, if I was going to do the glass, instead of working on the outside of the glass, I went inside and worked in here.
So you
So it
only
just
use
And he moved it around.
And exactly, right? Moved it around, pushed it up, so part was in, part was up, and then was almost, couldn't get in there anymore. Then I kind of fudged it from the outside.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'm
Does that
glad
make
you're
sense
doing it.
or
And
not?
and also I've been curious to know how the Picasso's Guernica inspired you to do this piece and the piece outside.
Well,
I mean,
that,
where did that come from?
that is something, I'm still kind of thinking about that, working with that a little bit. That was something I was thinking about around the time of the Occupy Wall Street, and all of the people's, were expressing distress and unrest and concern for
Okay.
things that seemed to be moving the way we had hoped. When a lot of people were voting for hope and change and all that stuff,
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking about art and art's place and things, and then my question was to myself was, has there ever been art that really can really make any kind of change? Is there art that really can move things and change things, And then the one painting that popped into my head was Guernica, because it seemed to maybe kind of do something when he painted that painting, and it's had a lasting effect. And then I thought about painting as, heroic, and what is heroic painting? Is it such a thing, or is there such a thing now? Are people making art that way? And I don't know, and
I don't know either.
I don't know. That's where this came
know.
from. I started drawing, looking at Guernica, just a Xerox. or a bad print I
Uh-huh.
made from my computer to try to understand what that painting was about.
Mhm.
Like, what is this? Why do people respond so
Right.
strongly? So I was copying it, and then I was kind of doing my own kind of thing
Mhm.
in my own cartoony way, and then I started drawing it a lot and painting it a lot, and started cutting out those shapes and putting them
Right.
together.
Have you all seen, and then there's a little tiny Guernica painting out here. And then this, of course, the reflections on the wall. And there's another Guernica, you've got three of
Right.
them.
Three.
There's another one out here.
Wait,
And also the 9/11 painting over there.
In the corner.
Yeah, that one. I mean, you seem to be moved by events, not the most pleasant, wonderful events.
Well, sometimes. Yeah.
I have a couple of your paintings upstairs that, and also the paintings that are rooftops of yours.
I've been doing those for a long
So
time.
are you all, I know you have. Are you all aware of the rooftop paintings? You know, the water towers?
and that's based on responding to living in the city.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And the palm trees, not everyone might have read your bio, and I'm not sure how much is in there, but that,
Those are nostalgic paintings.
yeah, because,
Because I grew up in Southern
Yeah.
California.
And then I'd love to know more about the woodcuts. That really came as a
Well, those
surprise to me.
Those are technically, they're